like my idea of holidays is I'm not really big on the theme of most holidays, but I am very like, oh, you get to spend time with your family. Everybody's free. You know, most times it's free food. So just respect the space for what it is. You don't have to impose your views or anything on everybody, and still show love in that way. And so that's how I feel about this. Like, you know, the Black History Month thing, I think it's, yeah. But, you know, I was like, nah, it's still a way, we can still find a way to celebrate us and encapsulate this space and time the best way possible.
Yeah.
So that's that. I guess we can go ahead and get started. You know, just give a little intro. What's going on, everybody? I'm Eric Boom Salvery. Welcome to the House of Boom. Celebration of Black excellence. You know, not too long ago, I thought of a way to celebrate my people, celebrate people I know, the movers and shakers, people who are out here trying, who are consistent, who are just out here doing the thing. I thought of my buddy here, Mr. Jaleena Anthony, who I've known for such a long time now, it seems like. You know, we go back to Rutgers. We go back to a little bit before Rutgers. I was like, how did I meet you? I said, I remember I met you on the train one day. It was like some type of festival coming back from the city. And I was getting on your nerve. You and your friend, and I sat down and I was having a conversation with y'all. And I was getting on your nerve.
Oh my God.
And the next time you saw me, I was on Rutgers at campus. And you was like, what are you doing here? You. I was like, let's go here now.
I remember that day like it was yesterday. Absolutely.
I had transferred to Rutgers. Actually, the day you saw me, I wasn't actually a student yet, but I transferred the next semester. I had taken a little break from school. I went to another school, took a little break, but I had friends that were on the football team. I was trying to get on the football team, all that good stuff. So I was visiting, and then the next time you saw me, then it was like the Tillet days. I'm saying Tillet, and anybody who's watching this, if you went to Rutgers.
Specifically, Livingston campus. I was going to say Livingston campus.
Livingston campus is essentially an HBCU built inside a state of PWI. I'm telling you, because now it's gentrified. You know, they got high-rise apartments and
a movie theater.
A movie theater.
Crazy.
5-star dining. You know what I mean? Like what? Like what we doing? Like
they got all that when we left.
Right. But the struggle was when you was at Tillet, the only thing you could count on, to me, I don't know about everybody else's experience, the only thing you could count on Tillet Dining Hall was breakfast. I knew breakfast you couldn't, it was always going to be good, nothing. Everything else was like, I had to go to other campuses to eat. But beyond that intro, I've known Jaleena Anthony for quite some time. She's doing a lot of things that gravitate and capture my attention, you know, whether it be the fitness journey, whether it be the create the space event planning, business and space, you know what I mean? And I always respect, I think the thing that represent you exude, you know, I'm giving you flowers early, is that excellence and consistency. You know, I always see you, you know, you're always putting your business out there. You're always letting people know. You're always creating events, you know, forgive me for not making it to any of them yet. And just being able to provide people with motivation, I would say. You know, this podcast teeters between fitness and wellness, and then other things that other walks of life that I think mainly recently, I mean a lot. I see you consistently on the fitness grind, and sometimes I see you, I'm like, I gotta make sure I get going. You know what I mean? And so, Livingston was New Jersey A&T.
It sure was. Absolutely. You couldn't tell us nothing.
You couldn't tell us nothing. She is also a member of, I'm going to let you introduce your sorority properly because I don't want to mess it up and get had a heat on my back. But you're also a member of.
No, I want you to say, no, I'm just kidding. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
You know what I mean? And she you know what's crazy? Yesterday I did a live. And my good brother Reggie Foxworth, he's a Q. Okay. So you know what I mean. So now I got the Qs, got everybody. I know they all blend together somewhere, somehow I think that's one of the things I definitely know you for. You know, if you don't know Jaleena for nothing, she throwing up them diamonds somewhere in her pictures on her profile. She don't play when it comes to that.
Lifetime commitment.
Yeah. And so I feel like that's a part of the Black excellence, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And just consistency. But how you feeling today? You know, how you feeling? Entrepreneurship. What's going on?
I mean, I'm good, you know. Today was a good day. I mean, I get excited when I'm happy, right? So like not every day is always like, a very like, I would just say joyous day. So whenever I can wake up with a smile, I take advantage of it. So today was one of those days. So I'm happy.
That's what it is,
Hmm.
you know. Um, I talked about it, I alluded to it in this the long intro, I would say. Um, how much has your fitness journey contributed to your happiness? Because you get it in.
A lot. Actually, I really use it to set the tone for my moods, like especially if I'm not, sometimes, because of being an entrepreneur, you just have so many things that are on your plate. And I also have a team as well, and so a team of brick and mortar. So it's just the stress of managing it all and still trying to have a personal life and still trying not to work all the time. And so a stress reliever for me has been going to the gym, regardless on how I feel. It's almost a guarantee that once I leave there, I'm gonna feel better.
Some endorphins going to
It's
kick
gonna
in, and
kick
then you
in.
just like,
So it definitely has played a major role.
you know, what's
Yeah.
interesting with me is that, and when I'm not drinking my water, like once I get like if I fall off of either of those two, whether it's the fitness or not drinking my water,
Hmm.
enough water, I feel like my mood totally changes. Like I'll be crabby, and I'll be like, oh okay, and I'll be like, nah, you know what it is, I'm dehydrated, so you know my mind isn't all the way
Right.
right, and then it's like the fitness, like even if it's I tell people all the time, like if you're just starting out, if you can just find 20 minutes to go on the treadmill, right? Just 20 minutes, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And don't have do it, get on there and just
Yeah.
walk. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're straight. Just that 20 minutes is like, all right, at least I got
Right.
something done, you know what I mean? With a couple calories. And I think the one thing that's lost is that neat factor, that natural exercise activity that everybody used to have, where everybody's so used to sitting down and
Yeah.
and just sitting in the office all day, that you got to get up and you got to move. You can't be a sluggard your whole life.
Hmm.
But you're a busy lady. You decided that you wanted to open an event planning plus an event space business.
Yeah.
Talk about that. What brought you to that journey?
So one thing I wanted to add about the whole fitness is making sure you get enough sleep.
Mm,
So I think that has a big factor in it. But what made me open it up? Well, really, it started. I had my event planning and design business, which are really two different things, right? So I
okay.
had that since 2016. I opened it up because I would say like starting in high school, I was always one to like I had friends that had children early, and so I was always putting together the baby showers and putting together events, and normally just have like this natural ability to kind of like take charge, I would
Hmm.
say. And so really, I always wanted to do it, but I knew that it was going to take a lot of effort and commitment. And when I was in corporate, I was comfortable. Like I made a lot of money at such a young age, and I just knew that I was like, if I do this on my own, then that means that there's a level of commitment that I knew that I had to bring to the table that was going to make me satisfied. I wasn't ready to do that until I was in the HR field. And so I got to a point where I wasn't happy anymore. Like I felt like that I wasn't really I wasn't able to give them my all.
Hmm.
In HR, like the goal is to kind of be that middle person between the business and employees. And so I always had like a really great relationship with employees and helping them solve problems. But once I got to a point where I was kind of like desensitized to some of the things, I just knew that it wasn't for me anymore. I probably stayed there like another 2 years, but that's when I decided to start my business and just focus on, living a more fulfilling life, which was putting together events. So that's how I started the event planning. Yeah.
That's funny. You're talking about being in corporate, and then it flashed upon me. I forgot I saw you at. It was like an event, like it was a Verizon, an
Yeah.
AT&T event, at Giant Stadium one time
Verizon.
with Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham,
Yeah, and I
and
got
we
the
was out there.
MVP.
I was out there coaching, and you was out there going hard. I forgot all about that, but it just dawned upon me when you said that corporate.
Yep.
Uh, what 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 I guess things have you had to overcome in that transition? I mean, that first part of the transition from, all right, I'm leaving my job. Now I'm out here on my own, and even though I have some experience with the baby showers and just doing stuff for the love, now I got to do this
Right.
for the money,
Right.
and the love.
Yeah. So I think I would. So I kind of. I'm like hesitant to even say this because I don't necessarily recommend it unless you're
Okay,
a certain type of person,
okay.
right? So of course, the rule of thumb is that when you leave corporate, you should, and you have a business. I have my business part time. So when it's time to leave the business, you should be making enough money, right, to take care of yourself. That's not what happened, right? So I manifested a lot of things. That's number one. And so I just kept saying, like, I was like, God, I just, I really would love to have a severance package. I would love to leave and all this stuff. And I kid you not, like, he created such, and I don't want to go into it because I don't want to make it a long story, but he created such an opportunity for me, right?
Mm,
That I decided to leave. But I was still working. My business was part time. And so I knew that once I left, I needed to put in um, work in order to make sure that I had a plan in place. I am 100% a planner. But I wanted to make sure I had structure in place. So that way, once I left, that I could still make the same type of money that I was making. So I did some research, looked into the Small Business Association administration, and then connected with this team called WCEC. And so they focused on women entrepreneurs, right? And so they had a program, it's like a fast track program where it's a 10-week course, and they took entrepreneurs of all different ranges. And you met once a week. I believe it was once a week for like 8 hours, and they brought in different subject matter experts in. So it was marketing, like we created our business plans, we did financial analysis, we did all these things. And that was when I realized that I needed to have a venue in order to live the lifestyle that I was at least used to.
mm.
Okay. So I did my financial analysis. I was like, wait, unless I'm a designer or a planner for like a celebrity, which some of them don't necessarily pay. So I'm like, unless I'm a designer for that, I'm not going to live the lifestyle. I could be comfortable, but not my level of comfort. And so I put into the plan that I was going to open a venue. That was in 2018. And so I projected 2020 that I was going to open the venue, and I actually got the venue in 2019. Had no idea I was going to do it, but because I put it on paper, I said this will make the most sense for me. And so I did that, and then the obstacles came because that's when COVID happened. So I used all of my money. I put it into this location that I'm in now. Definitely underestimated. Thought I was gonna spend about a good 20,000 just to make it look how I want, but because I'm extra, super extra, and I cannot help it sometimes, I ended up spending about 60,000. And right after that, the same week that I was supposed to open, that's when everything got shut down for COVID.
Wow.
So I used all my money. I had this venue that I was in debt with because I didn't have all that at the time. And, I was going through some other personal things. So it was a big challenge. But I have like this thing where I like to focus on the things that I can do and what I can control and not what I can't. And so, I like to believe I'm a pretty bright individual. So I just started focusing on, my intelligence, putting together like virtual events. I'm a hustler. They call me a jack of a lot of different trades. So I can do a lot. And I just found different ways to make money, all while still promoting my business here and putting together like the structure. So when it did open, that I wanted to hit the ground running. And that's pretty much how that happened.
Well, I would agree. I definitely would agree. You're a pretty smart person. Um, uh, and that's crazy that I, what I'm starting to find myself in the track of people who started stuff in 2018 and
Hmm.
2019, and then 2020 happened. And that's another part of, I guess, Black excellence, because you survived. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're still here, you're still kicking, you're still going, despite any other obstacles that are coming into your space and your way. How would you say the one that part-time, those baby showers and all those things that you were doing for, plus your corporate experience, prepared you to be an entrepreneur? Because I think sometimes people get lost in the I hate my job instead of realizing that there are some things that you can take from those spaces and add it to your own to become your own boss,
Right.
so on and so forth.
So, well, first I'd say like the small baby showers, like the way I started and I got experience was, of course, like family and friends, right? And so I remember the very first one that I did, I believe I did it for free. That may have been when I first started, and she just paid for the material. But that's how, because I did that free event, I ended up booking a wedding, right? And then pretty much because of that wedding, I ended up getting about I would say three weddings and like two baby showers from that one event. And the funny thing is that, sometimes people see more in you than what you do. So I remember the first wedding, the bride was like, "Oh, I think, I used to make I still make them sometimes, but I would make bridal bouquets." And she wanted this bouquet. She said she didn't want flowers, she wanted feathers, and it was just different. I was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I can." She's like, "Yeah, I believe you can." I was like, "Wait, what? I don't even know you." She's like, "No, I believe you can." And I said, "All right, like if you believe it, then." And so I ended up making it and started. That was a major part of my business at the time. But I would say like those baby showers allowed me to be creative in terms of like, I'm a creative, what I like to see, but being able to communicate with other people and getting an understanding of what their vision is, like that takes a special skill too, right? Because not your style may not be the style of your clients. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to, capture their vision in order to, be able to execute what they're looking for. And then on the corporate side, I would say that that is really how I'm able to be successful, right? Because, there are so many creative and talented people who have businesses, but if you don't have like the business background, um, I think it's a challenge because you don't know how to expand, right? And so because I come from a corporate setting, I was in leadership when I was at Verizon. I know how to lead a team. I know how to coach. I know how to come up with development plans. Like, I know how to do all those things because I spent 12 plus years in a corporate setting. And so, being able to bring all of those, transferable skills over to my business, that's why, a lot of times, even if you Google, like people would say, create that party, they're very professional. The thought process that I have is, how could I treat my business like a corporation? Because I can't just like the end goal is that I want it to be, of a certain caliber. But in order for me to get to that point, I have to make the steps now in order to get there. So,
That's fire. Creating an event is a difficult task. I sat there and I listened to you. You were talking about how you did one event and it spiraled into a wedding. Part of our many hustles. As they say, in a good way, that I do. Photography is one of them. And I remember one time, I don't know what I was thinking. Somebody asked me to do a wedding. They were trying to save money. Their budget was, whatever. I did the I did the pre-wedding photos, the wedding,
hmm.
the bridal party photos, and the reception. I would never do that again by myself, ever, ever. I
And
don't
you
care.
probably didn't charge a lot, right?
I charged them $700, and no, I charged them $600, and I said, and they did this. Now the wedding was inside, but they had this wedding. I forget what year it was. It was the hottest day of the summer, and they did the bridal party pictures outside
Hmm.
in a park. I would never, ever, ever, ever. I understand why people have a team. Two people ain't enough. Please, people, if you're doing a wedding, just pay, what it costs, because you got to pay that, and then you got to edit the
Yep.
photos, and then you got to make sure that the photos is right. And so that was a long day. That day started at 10 in the morning and then until 10 at night. They money. They got the discounted rate, and I was just like, oh yeah, no problem, whatever. And I'm thinking it was gonna be a small thing. That was a day. But one thing I learned about that taught me was about capturing details, every detail
Yeah.
that mattered. Try to capture every detail. Now I'm just in charge of an image. You're in charge of curating an experience.
Hmm.
How do you make details matter, and how, like, in that space, in that spectrum of everything?
Um, so one thing that I do is I'm a very visual person, right? And like because one of the things that are super important to me is the experience. So that really only happens if I'm involved in like the planning portion of it. When it's the tour, then it's something different. But if they hire me for planning, one, I get to know the person or the people. I think that's important because I get to find out what's important to them, right? If there are any key people in there that they want to impress or that they want to make sure it's close, like it's really about like at the end of the day, I truly do get a satisfaction out of making people happy. I think that people just, we work so much and everybody works very hard in whatever field they're in. So when it comes to my field, right, it's like they don't have the time to get those experiences that they're looking for because they're so busy working. So if I can come in and curate an experience for them that is memorable, then that's what my goal is. So in order to do that, the background is having several phone calls with them, spending time with them, being able to hear their background stories on, let's just say if it's a wedding, how did they meet? What are some hiccups? And just like, how do they respond to certain things? Um, so I would say that I pretty much I invest in the person to get to know them and their family, and think about I play it out in my head. So I think about like what does it look like when the clients come through. I like to do walkthroughs so I can get that vision too. When they come in, what is it that they're going to see? What are they going to hear? What are they going to smell? So thinking about all of that and putting it to one, and then also making sure that the vendors that I choose, that they're trustworthy, that that they're going to give the same level of excellence that I expect, right? And that I give. So it's making sure that I build those connections with my vendors because they're also a part of the experience too. So it's not just about me. So I think that all of those things are super important when making sure that my clients get the experience. And that's how I'm able to really execute it. And so if there are any hiccups, then those hiccups are I would say very minor because everything else has like surpassed their expectations. So that would be
Favorite type of event to do, and the type that you'd be like, "Woo, this one." I'm not going to put hard in front of it because creating something in somebody is always going to have a level of thing. But what's the one that just makes you go, "Okay, I got to put this together"?
it. So the favorite would be weddings. Even though I think that they are the most work. Um, I just love them. I love how the end results are. I love seeing those special moments between people. Like it's beautiful to me. So that's what I really enjoy. In terms of what mm, I can't I don't really feel like that there's an event that I don't really care for. I think it's just kind of like tapping into different parts of me. Like for a while I didn't do kids parties only because I just wasn't getting them. And then over the last year, I would say I got a lot of kids parties, and it just allowed me to tap back
All
into back
them
when I
COVID
was
babies catching up to you.
yeah. I just tapped into like, I worked at a daycare center for like majority of my high school years. So it just allowed me to just tap into that part of it, and I enjoyed it again and allowed me to be, loving the babies again. So I can't really say that there's a event that I don't like to do. Yeah. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay. No, I don't want you to not like them, but you know,
I think it's
just
the people. I think
yeah.
it might, like, if there's any experience that I don't necessarily enjoy would be if the client is difficult. And I do a really good job at handling difficult clients, but I think sometimes, some people, and I try not to take it personal, but some people might not just be happy with where they're, I don't know, they're just not happy. And sometimes that transfers over. At the end of it, we always it ends up being smooth because I just come back with, my normal personality. But, sometimes, I could take a beating, you know?
Is it is it hard to have those? You know, you sometimes again, photography, training, whatever it is. How hard is it to have those conversations, or have you come? No, here's a better question: have you come to the place where you're comfortable enough, even sometimes with money being a factor? You know, you want to be busy to just be like, nah, this isn't for me. This event, I'm not. It's not necessarily that I can't do the event, but this isn't for me. This I'm not your guy
Right.
or gal in your case.
Yeah, so I would say that really once, like, because I do this full time, like, nobody's like, I work hard. Like, I work hard around the clock. Like, even when I'm not physically moving, my brain is moving. I wake up answering emails. And so I think it came, like, really, what got me more comfortable is respecting myself, to
Mm,
say that, Jaleena, you put so much energy, time, and effort and passion into this, right? You know, you have, and also you have, I have this venue I have to take care of. I have my own person. I have bills that I have to make sure that I pay. And so at the end of the day, I had just had to create boundaries, because once I realized that, if I was taking everything, and they weren't necessarily paying what I needed them to pay, the only thing that was happening was that I was getting burnt out. It wasn't no longer fun to me anymore, and I still wasn't able to pay my bills. But
mm,
now, when I created boundaries for myself to say, I'm only going to do this, or really I developed packages for people that may not be able to pay a certain amount, where it made the most sense for me. So it's like, how could I find like that middle ground, right? So, but yeah, once you got to pay these bills,
yeah.
you learn real quick to say, you can't do it all. Can't do it all.
What are a few things um everybody, like I said, a lot of people start the way you started, a baby shower here or a birthday party here. We went to Party City, got a couple napkins, created a little dope atmosphere, or got the big letters or the big numbers. And then we say, all right, and then somebody gave you a compliment. Oh, this is nice. You should do this for a living. But you stuck with this. You part time to full time. But what are a couple things that you say you would want to give somebody advice on if they wanted to get into this event planning space, full time or part time?
Full time. Um, well, I would say that, what advice would I give them? I would say that if you're not ready to put in work, then just don't do it. Like, especially if it's full time, right?
Mm,
Like, if it's part time, and let's just say if you have the means, like, say if you're with a partner, and bills are not a factor, or you got that part handled, and maybe it's more of a hobby that, you're taking some time to build into position or into a business, then, you have a little wiggle room. But if you're going to do this full time, it really is about the hustle, right? Also, if customer service, like in my field, this is all about is social gatherings. So you have to be able to communicate with
mm,
people. And I would say that, especially as a Black business, we already have like a stigma on not having the best customer service, right? Or not coming to the table professionally. And so, in my opinion, I think that in order to kind of still wow our own people, right, you have to make sure that, like, you master that level of customer service. And if you can't do it, if maybe, like, I'm a social person, so I'm always talking to people and I enjoy doing it. But if
mm,
you're not that kind of person, then you need to find somebody that could help you and be on your team that is like that.
mm,
Because especially in this field, you're not, like, your reputation, it means a lot. And there are a lot of talented people out here, meaning like that they could put together a beautiful event. So can clients. clients. There are so many talented clients that could do that themselves. But what's gonna, in my opinion, what separates you and allows you to move along further and be able to make a living off of this is if you know how to talk to people, you have that customer service or somebody on your team could give that experience. And then also, I would say like invest in human capital, like
Mm.
invest in yourself, like educate yourself, uh, invest in your skills, go to trainings. Like this is not just about can you put together a balloon arch? Can you watch a YouTube, no, a YouTube channel that teaches you how to put together a table setting? It's about how are you able to build your business? How are you able to figure out a bottom line? How are you able to attract talent? How are you able to retain it? Like you have to be able to constantly invest in yourself, which is also a part of the hustle. So if you're not willing to do all of that, I don't believe that you're going to be successful, or it's going to be a stressful journey that is not necessary. So
And bridging the gap between the black consumer and the black business, what do you want, or what's something that you would say you want customers to know before they come to you uh, as a business so that the process can go smoothly?
um I would just say, I would just ask for people to just have understanding. Like, one thing that I would say people don't acknowledge is the fact that when you have somebody who is an entrepreneur, we're still growing our business, but we still have to deal with a lot of personal things that go on behind the scenes, right? And we have not been able to, perhaps we haven't been able to master, right? Like master, um, that level of being able to keep your personal private and and having it transfer over to the professional side, your business side. So I would just say, like, with my clients is understanding that I try to show that the intentions are good, right? Meaning that I try to show the behind the scenes. I try to, when I have clients, I try to give them the experience of allowing them to get to know me, so they know that it's coming from a genuine place, regardless on if I know them or not. It's because I want to make them happy. I would just say that just have patience, because sometimes there's so many things that go behind the scenes, and you know um we just trying to do our best. So you know so just have patience. Because a lot of times I'm not saying I'm a one-man show, because my team is amazing, right? Amazing. I would not be here if I did not have them. But there's still a large portion of it that I'm still trying to delegate and trying to manage. That right now is still a one-woman show, while I still have to go through all the regular parts of life. So.
Boss. Um, how has networking helped you, especially as a black business owner, really grow?
So it's helped me out a lot. Like, I think that there's power in networking and also joining networking organizations. And so I had to look at it differently, because originally when I went to join the organizations, I was looking to gain clients, right?
Mm.
I don't feel like, at least as of right now, I have not found, like, I've had a couple of people that I've been able to get as clients, but once I just kind of had like a different shift, like I shifted my mind to say, okay, what what can I take away from these organizations, as opposed to, how much money could I get? I saw the value in learning from other entrepreneurs. There's value and being in different spaces, to just kind of like be in the room. And so the networking is big, because you really have to create your own opportunities. And if you're a person who's just going to kind of sit back and watch, then it's going to be pointless for you. But if you are a person who says, let me be uncomfortable and go out and communicate with these people, you never know what kind of opportunities you can get. You never know who would refer you years down the road. And so I think that it's just important to always be, especially because it's a part of the hustle, be around like-minded people to also to learn, and then also just create experiences for yourself. because they definitely turn around and help you in the future.
Staying on this whole thing of networking, I think back to Rutgers. I said it at the beginning, I'll let you, throw the diamond up and the deltas and everything like that. When we were at Rutgers, it wasn't for me. I had personal stuff. My mom had passed in my time being there at Rutgers, so it wasn't really for me. My headspace and all that other stuff. But I remember you being in it and then transitioning and all that good stuff. And I want to give you space because I'm talking about Black excellence to really talk about how being a part of that organization has helped you in any way, especially being an entrepreneur and everything like that.
Okay, so I would say there's a certain level of I don't want to say expectation, but like there's a level of success, right? There's a certain character that, we're supposed to uphold. At least in my eyes. I feel like being a Delta, in my opinion, it just means that it's excellence. It's like it's a black successful woman that is, dedicated to whatever her level of success is. And so one, I think that it helps build character. Two, it is a network in itself. And so I've had a lot of sorority sisters support me along the way, whether it's attending my events, hiring me for their events, or even just being like a role model or a big sister or a younger sister. I've been able to just create different relationships with like-minded women.
Mm.
That has played a major role in my success story, I would say.
And,
Yeah.
the one thing again back then wasn't for me, blah blah blah. But one thing I like about you is the same people I see you with then, and they're all your sisters and stuff like that, are the same people I see you with now. And I was like, I was like that. Maybe I don't want to say I missed the boat, but I was like, oh, I see what it's about now. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? It's not just about the campus being on and all that, be able to wear your colors and all that stuff. When I see the same people rocking out that they saying that they would then now, it's just like, oh, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like it's really about like, so a lot of the girls that I hung out with that became my sorority sisters, we were already friends before we even got in a sorority.
Hmm.
We all came in freshman year, and so we really watched each other grow. That's what it was about. We watched each other
Hmm.
grow, and we went through like a lot of moments together. And so and we became adults, and so like you tend to have a different level of respect for people when you see some of the obstacles that they go through. And so, yes, freshman year, even till now, we still are very, very strong. And part of it is because of the sorority, but part of it is because, I would say that we were all meant to, we gravitated towards one another. So we all have like a special role within our group that is necessary. So,
That's dope. How now? I mean, we talked about your transition 2018, 2019. The 60,000 to over your head that you thought you were going to spend and all that good stuff. But how is it to really pull up, drive the work, and say, "This is my space." I own this space. I can do what I want with this space. And would you suggest that others get into the event space um, um, business?
uh, so so I don't do this. I don't just have an event space. I feel like that and I've talked to other venue owners, right?
Mm.
And I think everybody kind of says the same thing. Like, I think some people think you could just get an event space and it's just going to take care of itself, but
Mm.
that's not how it goes. That's not There's a lot of stuff that you have to worry about. And if you're doing it by yourself, then it's still managing the actual venue. It's still like, I put on there, like, I've had to get up there and get on a ladder and change filters and stuff that I didn't even want to do when I had a house. Like, so if you don't have like a maintenance person, like, these are things that you have to worry about. If things break, like, it's not just about allowing somebody to have your space, right? So I would say that, like, I have the event space, but I also do the planning and I also do the decor. So I make money three different ways, which allows me to be able to still, I've had my event space for 4 years now, so I've been on my own for 6 years. So it allows me to be able to be successful. But if a person was just trying to have a space and, that was it, I would say that you can do that with something
Mm.
else, because in order for, like, I think that, people have to know that you're there, right? And you have to, there's upkeep and stuff like that. The whole promoting part of it is a big factor. So unless you have like a huge space that has all the bells and whistles and can sell itself, and then, you have maybe like a marketing person that could just blast and do whatever it do, then I would say yes. But if you're starting out small and, you're trying to build, build it from the ground up and stuff like that, I would just say you need, you might want to make sure that you do something else with it.
You're in South Plainfield.
Yes.
The exact address eludes me, but I know you're in South Plainfield. But what's how many people does fits into your space, and what type of capability does your space events have to facilitate?
So we could accommodate up to 80 people. Um, And I mean, we've had all types of events. Like I've even had small weddings here. It was really good during COVID, when you were having small intimate things. But, baby showers, bridal showers, birthday parties. I even have packages because I try to think about ways to make it, helpful and financially feasible for clients too. So we have some packages that include decor as well. But we're located at 2201 South Clinton Avenue. We have a lot of parking, so that's not an issue. It's on the ground floor. It's all one level, so there's no issues with, if there's anybody who's wheelchair accessible, like we could accommodate that, or wheelchair bound, accommodate that. But yeah, so it's a nice, beautiful white space, and you could make it to however you want.
Have you ever done anything? Do you have any packages, like say, like some type of subscriptions, the type thing where, say, I just want to throw an event once a month, maybe like I said, like I don't know, a spoken word poetry jam or something like that. Do you have anything like that in the works, anything like that?
So that's definitely been something that has been on my mind to do. But I haven't rolled it out yet. So the answer is
Okay.
yes, just not right this second.
Coming soon.
Coming
Coming
soon.
soon. That's what it is. So now, did I read this right? Are you a personal trainer now too?
Yeah. So I know, right? This is why I never have any time, right?
Right.
But I do personal training, but I am in the process of getting certified.
Okay.
Okay. So they told me I can start the process. So right now I am training three people. Um, the three, yeah, three people, and I'd never thought that I was going to do it, but it's that passion of helping people. So I had a person who came to me, and I knew that it was a very vulnerable topic for her, and it took a lot for her to even ask me because of the type of person she is.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't say no. I could not say no. And so we worked it out. And I'm the type that I'm like, I'm not going to just do something and not know what I'm talking about. Of course, I know how to work out and I know how to, I've worked out my whole life, right? Well, as a, you know what I mean?
No.
But but I just wanted to make sure I knew what I was talking about. So I am in the process of getting certified as a person for a personal to be a personal trainer, and then also a nutrition as well.
Mm.
Yeah. So I have other things in my mind when it comes to that. All of it is just because I want to help other people. I have a disabled brother right now that I really just want to help him. I just want to help. So I'll leave it
Yeah.
at that. So I'm doing this because of what I want to do in the future.
Yeah. I have no qualms about telling people. You have seen me in your DMs like, oh, look at real 08. Look, we're going 7 over here. Come on now. Don't play with it. You know what I mean? Get out here snatched. You know what I mean? So I ain't mad at you. I'm always, and I hope that anytime I compliment a lady in the DMs, please understand, I'm heavy into fitness. I love to see people taking care of themselves. You know what I mean? Because that's the environment I try to foster. If I see you
Hmm.
taking care of yourself, that means I want to take care of myself. You know what I mean? and that energy is just proceeded. You know what I mean? And I tell everybody, like, you know what I mean? When I see one of my brothers getting it, you know, I remember like, yo, light work, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Or go ahead, man, because it's just a beautiful thing. And people don't realize how important fitness is
Yeah.
to your aging process and just taking care of yourself. You know, I've had people come up to me with you know, no disrespect to them, they look battered and bruised because life, just life. You know what I mean? They be
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, how you still look the same outside of this bald head I got? I was like, listen, listen. I said just consistency. You know what I mean? I may slack off for here and there,
Right.
but I'm always on my way back to that gym because it's
Yeah.
so important. You know what I mean? It's just a really um big part of who I am.
Yeah.
Um, how can you correlate Black excellence and taking care of your health?
Okay. You're giving me all these questions. All right. So correlate Black excellence and taking care of your health. Well, I think that I truly believe that the way how you show up for yourself in one area of life is how you show up in other areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I associate Black excellence with making sure that, once again, investing in human capital, right? Being able to pivot and still be successful, um, perseverance and all of that stuff. I feel like that once you're able to get through all those things, and reach what you consider as a level of success, to me, that's what Black excellence is. It's kind of like being able to walk around with style and grace, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what I look at as, Black excellence. And then when it comes to like the fitness world, it's, those personal things that happen in your life, it's like those are the obstacles, right? So, whether it's, you know, you have kids, or if you have like you're just physically tired, like you have to be able to get through those things in order to make it to the gym. But are you investing in yourself? Are you investing in your physical, mental, your health in that capacity? Um, because it's like once you do that part of it, it's like I said, once you show up for the way you show up in yourself for the professional or the Black excellence part of it, it needs to translate over to your physical side as well, or the
Mm-hmm.
fitness side as well. So I think that both of them are hand in hand. I think that when you do fitness, it allows you, at least for me, it brings a level of clarity,
Mm-hmm.
and it's some things kind of like come it becomes clear, and that's how you kind of figure out the other part of your life, is because you're working through those challenges, whether it's through weights, whether it's running, whatever you got to do. But I think that they go hand in hand, and in order to be successful in one area, I think that you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and you're taking your entire life, the whole cycle of your life, seriously too. So
Now, it can't hurt that again. I alluded to earlier that you were still rocking out with the people you was rocking out with Rutgers, but I see you got the whole squad with you. Everybody in shape. What's going on? How that feel?
it's contagious, right? Like it's contagious. Like, I think ultimately people want to feel good. And
Mm-hmm.
once you get over, like, when you're walking, talking and breathing like fitness, and having that like mental I guess just be in a positive mental space, I just think it's contagious. And I think that people, like, especially like the way that I work with my friends, like my energy, I've always been blessed to have great energy, right? And so when I'm around my people, my groups, it's, I'm expressive. I'm able to show that they know all the obstacles that I've gone through over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, if you can get through this and still make it to the gym and still find success and happiness and stuff like that, then it's got to work to some capacity, because you've had one heck of a run. So,
Mm-hmm.
and so some of them have already, everybody has already been in some kind of fitness or whatever, but like we've always kind of been back and forth, you know, in life, things happen. And so I think that we're just in an era of everybody's over 30, everyone wants to make sure that they're in great health. You know, we're in the phase of, when I say we, all of us in our age bracket, we're in the phases of like some people just, you know, not make it anymore and people are passing away and stuff. And so you start to see that. You're like, you know what could I do to make sure that I live a healthy lifestyle and I live to my best ability? How could I not wake up with aches and pains, you know? So we all respect that and try to encourage one another. So,
Well, there's two types of aches and pains, right? It's the ones we give ourselves when we're in the gym, or the ones we try to avoid later in life.
right.
Um, I ain't
I,
gonna lie, I hate leg day, but cause I'll be like, oh, I'll be walking around like, oh, no stairs, please, elevators only. But you know what I mean? Hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Because I realize like sometimes people see me doing my running and jumping and stuff like that, and they be like, ouch, oh, I wish my knees could this and that and that. I'd be like, nah, I'm actually good. Like I feel like I don't feel like I did when I was at Rutgers, but I still
right.
feel like I can still like the other day the gym I go to now is it's in Fairless Hill, PA, but it's like a drive. So like I'll do Uber and Lyft. I'll Uber and Lyft up there and then Uber and Lyft back. You know what I mean? So at least I make money on the way, make money on the way back.
Right.
And they have a full 100-yard field, or close to like 80-yard field inside. So I like the other day, I just went for a run. I was like, "What the last time I just went for a sprint?" And to be above 30 and just going for a sprint, most people they say, after high school you don't even sprint no more. So to be able to
Hmm.
just go ahead and just do that, it just felt invigorating. Like you know
Right.
what I mean? That I still got that, and then it makes me want to continue to train and do certain things just so I can continue to do this because I want to be that old dude that at the pin relays at 80 still running around the track or something like that doing something and they be like, how is he still doing it? It's like, nah, just I committed to taking care of myself.
Yeah.
um
I
we
like,
about to land this point.
I
Huh?
was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say like I really enjoy challenging myself. Like I feel like with fitness, there's always some level of, challenge that you could just like I create my own challenges. I don't compete with nobody else. I just compete with myself. I did 3 pull-ups this day. Can I get to four? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So like I just, try to do different things and I get bored easily. So I also
Mm.
with fitness, there's so many things that you can do. So but all that to say is that, doesn't matter what age, I feel like the fitness you could always be motivated because there's so many levels of fitness. So
Yeah.
hmm
I'm gonna put this, since we talk about like challenges and all this other stuff. I had this idea coming in here today, but I'm almost doubled down. Like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. Because usually the thing that makes my podcast or my show unique is that I don't just interview people, I work out with them. But
what you about to come in there?
no. What I thought
What?
about was like just in the space of the Greek love and all that other stuff. I'm gonna try to set up a workout between you and the brother because the brother I had yesterday, he owns his
Okay.
own facility. Now it's in North Jersey,
Okay.
but it's a big gym, and we're gonna do a group workout, the three of us, and get together and just go ahead and
I'm
do
with
it. You know what I mean?
it.
Because I already me and him work out every once in a while, anyways. I figured bring that female energy or lady energy into the mix and let's
Yeah.
do it. You know what I mean? And so definitely we're gonna get that going. Um, but we about to land this plane soon because I know you're busy, got things to do. But one, I wanted to give anybody who's watching right now any questions or anything. If you got a question for Jaleena, please put it in the chat so that she can answer it as quickly as we can. And one, I just want to give you time to give a shout out to anything that needs to be followed, anything that you want to be supported in,
Okay.
anything that's going on that's special right now. I know like Valentine's Day is coming up, and I'm sure you got something going on or something. Whatever you need, this is your time. You know, um, let's make it happen.
All right. So I would say, one, thank you to all those that tuned in. So I appreciate your support. But if you're not following, I do have a venue page, which is Create That Party Venue, as well as it's more, it was personal, but turned into a business page. So Lena underscore fit and sexy at AF, right? But I am passionate about fitness. So if you're looking to be inspired, I would say follow me on that page. And in terms of anything that's going on, so right now I am highlighting our toddler packages, which is for really ages 1 to 3 at the venue, trying something out where, really trying to make it easy for parents. So if you have a toddler and you want to host an event for them or a party for them, then definitely reach out. Yeah, I can give you, we have some promotions going on. I have packages of all different price points. And then also what's big is that we do have a repass package too. And so that is something that I want to highlight because I try to just make it really easy for people as well. And so we actually have one coming up this weekend, but just want to highlight those two packages. Those are our new packages that we're rolling out, the repass and then the Tyler package.
That's
So
what's up. Just make sure if you go follow all that stuff, if you need an event, a venue, something that you got to get done, highlight Jaleena. She got it all. She can create it. She's into the details.
mhm.
You'll be able to listen to this. I'll have this on replay for YouTube, Spotify, and I think Apple Play. So I'll, go through all the rigors of downloading and make sure that this episode is available for you to share. And anybody who wants to listen back, get some nuggets on how to, get your own event planning business going, or maybe, just maybe, you want to join the team. Maybe you want to have a mentor. I'm sure Jaleena could use some help. You know what I mean? All hands on deck.
That's actually how I got one of my people. She wanted to be, she wanted me to mentor her. I didn't have the time, but I said, you could work for me and that's how you could learn. And so we have a
Mm,
beautiful relationship. One thing about me is that I am not afraid to share. I do not believe in competition, like feeling like that you have to compete with people just because you're in the same field. There is clients for everybody. I'm an open book. I would say that if you are in the events industry and you're looking to have, to just speak with me and stuff like that, I'm an open book. I might ask you to buy me lunch, maybe, but that'll be it.
where you having lunch at? That's what we need to know.
I mean, it really depends. I'm a seafood girl, so as long as it's someplace where I can have a good, good salmon, then I'm good with it.
I had some salmon lunch, you know what I mean, over rice and veggies because she's not eating the lemon cheese and none of all that.
Nope,
No, cut it out. Cut it out.
nope,
Nope,
nope.
nope.
We healthy over here,
We
unless
help
it's
you.
fries.
There it is. There it is. I ain't gonna lie, I had a surprise today. I had a little small fry. I was like, yo, I had a little 5 minutes. I was like, yo, I just need a little something. That's it. Keep it moving. But the biggest thing with me is the bread. As long as I stay away from the bread, I'm good.
Mm.
And bread and donuts. I don't know what happened over the last couple of years, but I just become a donut guy. Like I love donuts, and especially when donuts came into the picture, it's like, oh, this is not
Oh
right. This donut,
no.
the donut just gets devoured. It's like, all right. So
Well,
my 2020.
I've been trying, like I've been putting together different desserts that are like high protein desserts because I do have a sweet tooth as well. And so I don't know, I don't know when the next time I see you, but I've been mastering these high protein brownies and they're good, and so I've been like making some stuff for the people like us that are trying to stay in the fitness, like trying to do well but have a sweet tooth. So we're going to figure it
Listen,
out.
when I set up the workout, you can
I'm
bring
gonna
some of them brownies to
bring
the
it on.
workout, and we'll do a little cheers. We'll do a
Yep.
little cheers to the high protein brownie. Like, the crazy thing is, I'm not even a big chocolate lover, but I do love
Yeah.
brownies for some reason. So if it's a healthy brownie, I'm here for it. You know what I mean? But I just want to thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule to just come chat with me.
Of
I hope that
course.
this is as beneficial for you as it is for me to hear, listen, and just really learn about your journey. And I just pray that the rest of 2024 goes well. That
Yeah.
60,000 that you make it back 3 times over, so that what I mean.
Yeah.
We can all win. You know what I mean. And I just want to thank anybody who tuned in, watched. This is the House of Boom. I'm really getting rid of the word podcast, but for now, it's the House of Boom podcast. It's the House of Boom show. I'm still getting used to the same show. And thank you again for watching. And look forward to the replay. And we are out. So y'all have a great Tuesday. Almost said